Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Wednesday evening, April 29, 2026. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you all like this video. I'd really appreciate it if you all get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak months of Atlantic hurricane season, that's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Please ensure that you all utilize the progress bar that's located at the bottom of the video, as well as the timestamps that are located not only in the comment section but the video description, so that you can skip to the points in the video that you want to see the most in order to save time, because we know that the videos over here with the Jamaica can be very long. Leave a comment down below letting me know what the weather has been like in your area recently. Also feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Taking a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can see that ridge of high pressure right here situated to the north of the Bahamas, right here to the east of Florida. We can see the blue spike line associated with that frontal system that extends from northern portion of North Atlantic all the way down to the north of Hispaniola and Puerto Rico. Another frontal system that extends from northern portion of North Atlantic all the way down to the north of the Cabo Verde Islands, and another ridge of high pressure right here to the north that we know is responsible for sending all of the easterly trade winds across the main development region into the Caribbean. We can also see the red line associated with the intertropical convergence zone extending from northeastern South America all the way over into the west coast of Africa. If we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before we lost sunlight, we can make out the clouds associated with that frontal system that extends from northern portion of North Atlantic all the way down to the north of Hispaniola. Another frontal system right here extending down to the north of the main development region to the north of the Cabo Verde Island. And we can definitely make out the low to mid levels of the clouds being steered from east to west, all courtesy of the ridges of high pressure to the north. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean's weather later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Wednesday, April 29, 2026. It was stated that rain could have been in the forecast parts of northern Jamaica on Wednesday morning, also affecting sections of some eastern, central, and western parishes during Wednesday afternoon. We know that northern parishes in Jamaica, we're talking about Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Ann, St. Mary, Portland, while eastern parishes in Jamaica, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Surrey, like Portland, St. Thomas, Kingston, and St. Andrew. Central parishes, and we're talking about those parishes in the county of Middlesex, like St. Ann, St. Mary, Manchester, Clarendon, and St. Catherine. All western parishes, and we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall, like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, Westmoreland, and St. Elizabeth. And what ended up happening? At around 3:05 p.m, the visible satellite image was posted not only here on our Twitter page with the Jamaica, but it was also posted on our Instagram page with the Jamaica, on our TikTok page with the Jamaica, and on our Facebook page with the Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there as we make posts throughout the day that you cannot afford to miss. So we can see the clouds that will bring some amount of overcast skies, if not scattered thundershowers to sections of eastern, central, and western parishes, especially central Jamaica. That was where we saw most of the sparkling yellow dots that we know represent some amount of lightning strikes, if not lightning flashes, especially across sections of Manchester into Trelawney, St. Ann, sections of Hanover into northern St. Elizabeth, sections of southern St. James, and into southern or southwestern Trelawney. Also had some isolated thundershowers across northern St. Catherine into northern St. Andrew, and even southeastern St. Mary, even western Portland getting in some of the action. Then by around 5:05 p.m, the infrared close-up satellite images were posted, and they highlighted the thunderstorms that fired up today across the island. All of the blues into the greens, yellows, oranges, and reds represents that cumulonimbus cloud cover. Not to mention the abundance of sparkling white dots that represent lightning strikes, if not lightning flashes. I think this is the most lightning that I've seen across the island all year so far. And we can see what really took place today on the visible satellite images right here. We saw that northeasterly low to mid-level flow. Then we had that daytime heating and the clouds built up across sections of some central and western parishes. Then we had the upper level winds blowing those cloud tops off towards the northeast, just like what we said would have happened in our video posted yesterday. And we can see all of the thunderstorms being sheared off towards the northeast by that upper level wind shear. And we definitely predicted this. Most of the activity was definitely on the north coast for sure, just as predicted. And we definitely have confirmation. The live camera from See Jamaica's YouTube channel shows that we had some rainfall at 1300 hours. That's 5:13 p.m. You can see some people walking about with their umbrellas. The windshield wipers are definitely on. There's some light rainfall at that time, soaking rainfall earlier. And we're glad that we have this live camera from See Jamaica's YouTube channel to confirm what took place across St. Anne today. And if you'd like to see more live streams like this, just visit See Jamaica on YouTube. We have these live streams all for you to view for free, so subscribe today to this channel so that you don't miss out. And even the Montego Bay camera, it was not really showing much in the way for rainfall, but it was definitely cloudy at that time. This was 14:38, so 2:38 p.m. As you can see right there, people going about their business either way. And the total accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours from the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website definitely confirms that we had that rainfall today, especially across sections of some central and western parishes. And we definitely have some comments that came in from some of our followers about what the weather is like in their area today. You have Aj Carby posting 1 hour ago, light scattered showers in Kingston, Lower Constance Spring Road. Even on our Facebook page, we have some comments that came in. Let us load up these comments quickly. Alright, here we go. Alright, the Facebook comments gonna load. Okay, here we go. Alright, let us load all of them. First comment comes in here from the follower known as Sashana Pete Campbell. She stated, a mini storm just passed, lots of rain and lightning, Devon, Manchester. We have Marcia Freeman stating was really heavy. We also have Giovanni Gale stating dark and thunder rolling in parts of St. Anne where I am. Sylvia Banda stating light rain with continuous thunder in Brownstone, St. Anne area. Fitzroy Williams stating 2 hours ago hot and sunny Hampton Green, Spanish Town. Marvia Hall posted 2 hours ago it's raining now in Genoff. Paulette Stevens posting 1 hour ago got some showers kinda easing up Bog Walk, St. Catherine. Nicole Wilson posting 2 hours ago rain in Kingston. Millicent Miller posting 2 hours ago sun and hot and sunny. And finally, we have Shawnee Reynolds posting 2 hours ago, St. Andrew always present with a rain. We also had some comments that came in here on our Instagram platform. Claire.Macam posting 2 hours ago, Kingston, little raindrops. We have Marlon_1 God_ posting 2 hours ago. Clarendon, cloudy weather Jamaica. We have Jevan Panton posting 2 hours ago, Spanish Town, sunny. We also have another comment here on our Instagram platform that came in. Is this one gonna load? I don't know why they're glitching out. Alright, no problem. Let's move on to our TikTok platform. We have Nicole Brian posting 34 minutes ago, rain in Kingston. We have Sheer posting it's raining here in St. Catherine. 2 hours ago, we have Curly ._.Sue5 posting 2 hours ago. Overcast now, 3:52, Runaway Bay, St. Anne, thunder. We have Pretty Philly posting 2 hours ago. You are right as a book, it's raining in St. Anne, Jamaica. And we have Carlene_46 posting 2 hours ago, rain in Clarendon. We also have on our TikTok platform Joyce Lynn Lewis posting 32 minutes ago, rain and more rain. And we also had some comments that came in here on our YouTube community platform. Active 4810 posting 2 hours ago, Clarendon, cloudy and dark. Davia Brown Thompson 620 posting 1 hour ago, Tower Isle, St. Mary is overcast too. Thank you all for confirming what the weather is like in your area for today. Let us reload the very latest still image here from the Weather Nerds website, the latest Cuban Doppler radar imagery, the latest Guantanamo Bay US Navy radar imagery, and the latest Cayman radar. We want to see exactly what's taking place across the island right now. Alright, so the latest still image here from the Weather Nerds website is showing 23:15 UTC, which is actually 6:15 p.m. So this just came out 8 minutes ago, considering that it is 6:23 p.m. right now. And as you can see, we have some leftover clouds across sections of central and northeastern parishes. So maybe sections of especially St. Mary into Portland, southern St. and northern Clarendon, northern St. Catherine into sections of central to northern St. Andrew, getting in on some amount of cloud cover as we speak. Unfortunately, we don't have the latest Cuban Doppler radar imagery to show because it looks like it glitched out at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 2:30 p.m. Jamaica time. At least we have the latest Guantanamo Bay US Navy radar imagery to show, and it's actually showing that as of 23:01 UTC, which is actually 6:01 p.m., we're getting some moderate rainfall across sections of Portland, definitely in line with these clouds that we're seeing across Portland, and maybe St. Mary getting some of the action too. But as you can see here, the latest Cayman Doppler radar imagery, not really showing much of anything across the Cayman Islands, Central Cuba, or Western Jamaica at this time. The live camera from See Jamaica's YouTube channel is showing halfway through. Nothing to do with bad weather at all. We have people going about their business, whoever is going on the night shift on their way, whoever is going home on their way. Definitely fair conditions taking place in halfway through at this time, and that should be the order of the evening into the night. Taking a look at the temperatures right now, we can see about 26 degrees Celsius in both Montego Bay and Kingston, and by about 4 a.m. on Thursday, temperature should dip down to about 24 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 23 degrees Celsius in Kingston. The temperature forecast for tomorrow from the GFS shows that by around 18 on Thursday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Thursday, Jamaica should still be shaded in the yellows and the slight oranges that represents maybe 1 to 2 degrees Celsius above normal. And we know the normal temperature for the month of April across Jamaica is around 88 degrees Fahrenheit. When that's converted to degrees Celsius that we use here in Jamaica, that's around 31.11 degrees Celsius. So given that we're going to be receiving maybe up to 2 degrees Celsius above normal, on Thursday it should be anywhere from 31.11 to 33.11 degrees Celsius at most for Jamaica's temperature on Thursday. And if tomorrow is going to be a bit too hot, we have tips to beat the heat. It stays here: dress down, wear lightweight clothing, and use sunscreen. Check on others, including children, elderly people with medical conditions, and pets. Be cool, stay indoors, and make use of fans and air conditioners. Avoid alcohol and caffeine as they can make dehydration worse. Limit non-essential strenuous activity during the hottest parts of the day. And I cannot stress enough the importance of keeping hydrated throughout the day. Drink lots of water even if you're not thirsty, and put away those sugar drinks and drink water instead. Taking a look at the dry air and relative humidity map. You know that the dry air is represented by what we see here on the key on the right. The light shades of browns, the dark shades of browns, while the humid air represented by the whites into the greens. And we have some humid air across the area for sure as we head into 18th on Thursday. Some browns across Jamaica, but not really brown, but some browns definitely making way for some amount of daytime heating rainfall to easily fire up. You know that if it was dark, it would definitely be harder for us to get daytime heating rainfall. But clearly, wherever we have the humid air in the whites and the greens, definitely going to be very easy for thunderstorms to fire up in those spots, especially across Hispaniola, Puerto Rico. And I mean, that's definitely been the case, and as you can see, this is what was really taking place today. Look how easy it was for the thunderstorms to fire up across Hispaniola into Puerto Rico today. Even some crazy thunderstorms. Look at this. So you know that the area is moist. And if we take a look at the Saharan dust forecast for the next 3 days, we're heading into May 1, May 2, and May 3. And as you can see, no Saharan dust to worry about across the Caribbean. We know that the Saharan dust is represented by the greens, yellows, oranges, and pinks. And yes, we have some slight shades of greens pushing through, but clearly the more it pushes towards the west, the more it dwindles down to nothing, and that's what we want to see. Because you know that the Saharan dust can definitely cause hazy skies, not to mention trigger somewhat of respiratory illnesses in some persons. So we're grateful that for the next 3 days, no Saharan dust is here to really worry about. Taking a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, still seeing a mixture of light shades of blues to darker shades of blues across the Caribbean. Represented from 0.5 of a meter wave height all the way up to maybe 2 meter wave height. And that's because of the winds that are expected. We see winds coming in from the east for the most part across the Caribbean, averaging anywhere from 5 to 10, maybe up to 20 knots at most. And that is because of the winds that are expected. We see to the north of Portland up to 0.9 of a meter wave height expected. To the north of St. Anne, same thing. To the north of Hanover, 0.8 of a meter wave height expected. To the south of Westmoreland, 0.6 of a meter wave height. To the south of Clarendon, 0.7. To the south of St. Thomas, 1.1 meter wave height. And that's because of the winds that are expected. To the north of Trelawney, expect easterly winds averaging 13 knots tomorrow. To the south of St. Thomas, easterly winds averaging 11 knots tomorrow to the south of Manchester. Southeasterly winds averaging 8 knots, and we see where that air is expected to pile up. We see where we have the least amount of winds across sections of some central and western parishes. So that is where we could have some of these low-level clouds becoming mid-level rain clouds, if not upper-level cumulonimbus clouds, and if those clouds actually get up into the upper levels of the atmosphere to become cumulonimbus clouds, those clouds have to be shed out towards the east-northeast, so not necessarily towards the northeast like what was taking place today, as you can see with these thunderstorm clouds pushing towards the northeast. It's going to be more so from the west-southwest to the east-northeast tomorrow. Definitely still bringing more of the overcast skies to sections of northern Jamaica, and maybe even some of that rainfall favoring northern parishes for sure, just like what took place today. Wherever we saw the sparkling white dots, that's where we had the thunderstorms, definitely across some northern parishes, Portland, St. Mary, St. Anne for sure. And if we take a look at the actual rainfall forecast maps now, this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS, they are both showing 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 2 p.m. Jamaica time. And we're showing this time period because we didn't see much of anything in the morning hours. It is the afternoon that we're seeing the rainfall, and we're seeing it across eastern, central, and western parishes. And when we say eastern parishes, we're talking about western portions of Surrey County. So West Portland, Northwest St. Thomas, Kingston, St. Andrews, St. Catherine, section of St. Mary into St. Anne, section of Central to Northern Clarendon, section of Clarendon into, well, section of Manchester into Trelawney, section of St. Elizabeth into St. James, section of Hanover into Westmoreland could get in on that daytime heating rainfall. And the fact that we're seeing the Euro showing something similar increases the chances of it actually happening. And if we take a look at the total accumulated precipitation forecast maps, both maps right here from the Euro and the GFS are showing all the rainfall that's expected from up until 10 p.m. on Thursday. And we see that rainfall especially across central and western Jamaica, and the Euro only going up to at least 0.46 of an inch of rainfall, the GFS only going up to at least 0.59 of an inch of rainfall. We'll say it actually plays out over the next 24 hours. We know that it could be more than that, it could be less than that. Whatever happens, we just have to take it because we're in the month of April, and the last day, to be honest, coming up. In St. Anne, we usually receive 84 millimeters of rainfall in April. That's about the same as 3.3 inches of rainfall. While in Clarendon, we usually receive 68 millimeters of rainfall this month. That's about the same as 2.7 inches of rainfall. And if you would like to find out what your specific parish usually receives in terms of rainfall for the month of April or for the entire year, you can visit nomadseason.com, and that website will show you that information. Alright, so we're going to be looking at what the next 7 days have in store for us according to the latest Euro and GFS supercomputer model runs that came out today. So keep your eyes focused on the timestamp right here at the top as we go out to the next 168 hours. That stands for the next 7 days. Keep your eyes focused on Jamaica right here as we look for all of this that we see on the key on the right. That's the reds, the oranges, the yellows, and the greens represents millimeters of rainfall. So let's see what's going to be taking place for 12Z on Friday, May 1. So we're heading into the secondary rainy season, but boy, based on what the CPC has been showing, doesn't look good at all in terms of the rainfall that's expected. We'll say it plays out. We know that what the CPC usually shows isn't set in stone. Either way, 12Z on Friday, so that's 7 a.m. on Friday. We don't really see much of anything across Jamaica. Maybe a speck of green that represents some isolated shores across the eastern end. Then on Friday afternoon, we see rainfall across eastern, central, maybe western parishes. Western parishes looks like it's going to be getting in on some isolated shores. On Friday morning, not really seeing much of anything in terms of rainfall. Friday afternoon, however, we see that rainfall across eastern, central, western Jamaica. Interesting. What do we see on Saturday morning on the Euro? Maybe some isolated shores across far eastern Jamaica. Then on Saturday afternoon, we see that rainfall across eastern, central, and western parishes. What does the GFS show? Saturday morning, nothing. Saturday afternoon, rainfall across eastern, northern, and western parishes. What do we see on Sunday morning? Sunday morning, we see some rainfall across some eastern parishes. On Sunday afternoon, we see that rainfall across eastern, central, and western parishes. What does the GFS show? On Sunday morning, maybe some rainfall across some southern and eastern parishes. On Sunday afternoon, we see that rainfall across eastern, northern, and western parishes. What do we see on Monday morning? Not really seeing much of anything on Monday morning. On Monday afternoon, is that rainfall mainly across some, looks like some central and western parishes. What does the GFS show? Monday morning, maybe some isolated shores across the far east. Monday afternoon, maybe some rainfall across some eastern, northern, and western parishes. What do we see on Tuesday morning? On Tuesday morning, not really seeing much of anything across the island, maybe some rainfall to the southeast of us. Then on Tuesday afternoon, we see that isolated shore activity across the eastern and western parishes. Still seeing that abundance of moisture right here across the waters to the northeast of the Bahamas, extending up into Bermuda and the open waters of the Atlantic. What does the GFS show for Tuesday morning and afternoon? Tuesday morning, maybe some isolated shores across far eastern parishes. We're seeing something possibly spinning here in the Bermuda area. We didn't see anything spinning on the Euro. Very interesting. Maybe a low level circulation, maybe something subtropical. We will see. Then on Tuesday afternoon, we saw rainfall across some central and western parishes. Finally, we're looking at the end of the 1 John 68 hours now. This map from the Euro is showing 12Z on Wednesday, May 6, which is actually 7 a.m. on Wednesday. We see some rainfall across some southern and eastern parishes. Do we have the same thing being shown for 12Z on Wednesday on the GFS? No, we don't. So we have some contrast there for both time periods. We'll see it actually plays out over the next 7 days. And if we take a look at the total accumulated precipitation across the western Atlantic for the next 7 days, both maps right here from the Euro and the GFS are showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until Wednesday, May 6. And clearly the most rainfall should be wherever we have the dark reds into the purples and the pinks represents anywhere from 2 to 5 inches of rainfall, like what we're seeing here on the key on the right. So maybe sections of Florida, sections of eastern Cuba, sections of Hispaniola into Puerto Rico, and clearly the most rainfall should be across eastern Nicaragua into Costa Rica, Panama into Colombia, southern and northwestern Venezuela, sections of Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana, Suriname, French Guiana. And we see that it's not only the GFS model that's showing this, but if we take a look at the Euro model, the very same spots are showing these crazy rainfall totals in the dark reds, purples, and the pinks for sure, especially across central to southern, central to South America. We'll say it plays out. And whatever happens, I'll definitely be here to keep you posted of Conspira's life. Alright, so what's happening across Jamaica in terms of our rainfall totals? Definitely the same. Both the Euro and the GFS models are showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until Wednesday, May 6. And both the Euro and the GFS are showing the island shaded from the western end to the eastern end. And the blues and the greens represents a total of maybe 29 millimeters here in eastern Jamaica. GFS doesn't have a number here, but we see the greens maybe 15, anywhere to 15 to 30 millimeters for sure. No yellows, no oranges, so definitely less rainfall. I mean, I think this is the first time since the year has begun that I'm seeing a 7-day rainfall total with only at least maybe 30 millimeters. I mean, I remember in the January, February time frame, it's gonna look like this on the south coast, but the northeastern side was, picking up more rainfall over a 7-day time period. But this has got to be the least amount of rainfall I've seen so far this year, and it is telling. I mean, this is the beginning of El Nino, and I think that is going to be getting worse. I have been saying this all year long. I think all of the rainfall that we've gotten so far this year is to make up for the lack of rainfall that is coming because of El Nino. As you know, El Nino causes less rainfall in our neck of the woods, and El Nino, boy, to me, I think it's already here, to be honest, but it has to be officially declared by the NOAA. We'll see. Alright, so what's taking place here across the rest of the Caribbean basin? Frontal system brings some decent thunderstorms to portions of Hispaniola, eastern Cuba, Jamaica into Puerto Rico. If we take a look at the Doppler radar images near Puerto Rico, what's taking place down there? We're seeing where we had rainfall, or we're still having rainfall across Hispaniola, sections of northwestern and eastern Puerto Rico, moderate to heavy rainfall at that. And if we load these images from earlier today, we saw we had some isolated, even scattered pockets of moderate to heavy rainfall, especially in the yellows and oranges across central to western Puerto Rico. And if we take a look at the Barbados radar, not really seeing much of anything across Barbados right now. See some hit or miss isolated shores in the blues and the greens pushing from east to west for the most part towards the direction of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The weather we have Doppler radar images highlighting that rainfall that has been taking place across especially the Dominican Republic, moderate to heavy rainfall at that. Look at the greens into the yellows, oranges, reds. Also seeing some rainfall here to the east of Nicaragua, some rainfall across Guyana as well. And if we take a look at where the rainfall is expected within the next 24 hours. Both maps right here from the Euro and the GFS are showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Thursday. If it's not already affecting these areas right now, it's definitely expected within the next 24 hours. I mean, it's very interesting to see how dry Florida, the Bahamas, central to northwestern Cuba, Yucatan into Belize and Guatemala are. But clearly the most rainfall should be across far eastern Cuba, Jamaica, Haiti, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, eastern Honduras, maybe southwestern El Salvador, sections of eastern Nicaragua, Costa Rica into Panama, sections of Colombia, northwestern and southern Venezuela, Guyana, Suriname, and French Guiana. We see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in agreement with this forecast. I know that when they're in agreement like this, the chances are higher for it to actually take place. Alright, so what's happening here on the Joint Typhoon Warning Center? Nothing for the Indian Ocean, nothing for the Western Pacific, and there's still nothing across the Central Pacific or the Eastern Pacific or on the NHC website for us here in the Atlantic. Any changes that arise, I'll definitely be here to keep you posted with what occurs. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.